Hello, dear friends. What if, at 82 years old, after losing the love of your life, you walked into church one Sunday morning and found a new beginning? What if the answer to your loneliness was sitting just a few pews away all along? Today I want to share one of the most gentle and hopeful true stories I've ever heard. It's about an 82-year-old widow who thought her heart had closed forever until a simple Sunday at church changed everything. Her name is Ruth. She's 87 now, with soft white hair and the kindest eyes you've ever seen. But back when she was 82, Ruth was sure her love story had ended. She had been married to her beloved husband Frank for 54 beautiful years. They raised 3 children, traveled a little, and spent countless Sunday mornings sitting side by side in the same church pew. When Frank passed away, Ruth felt like a piece of her heart went with him. For 3 long years, she sat in that same pew, alone. Every Sunday, she would look at the empty spot beside her and quietly wipe away a tear. She told her daughter, "I had my great love. I don't expect another one." Then one ordinary Sunday morning in the spring of 2021, something different happened. A new gentleman sat down 2 rows in front of her. His name was Thomas. He was 84, a widower himself who had lost his wife 2 years earlier. He had just moved to town to be closer to his grandchildren. After the service, the pastor invited everyone for coffee in the fellowship hall. Ruth almost didn't go, but something made her stay. Thomas was standing by the coffee table, looking a little lost. Ruth smiled at him and said, "First time here?" That simple question started a conversation that would change both their lives. They talked for almost an hour that first Sunday. Thomas was quiet and respectful. He listened more than he spoke. He told Ruth he had been coming to church his whole life, just like her. Over the next few weeks, they kept seeing each other every Sunday. They would sit a little closer. They would share a quiet cup of coffee after the service. They talked about their late spouses with warmth and respect. They talked about their children and grandchildren. They talked about how strange and lonely life can feel when you suddenly have to do everything alone. There was no rush, no pressure, just 2 old souls who understood each other's pain. One Sunday after service, Thomas gently asked Ruth if she would like to take a short walk in the church garden. She said yes. As they walked among the flowers, Thomas stopped and said softly, "Ruth, I never thought I would feel this way again. But being around you these past weeks has brought a light back into my days. I don't want to waste whatever time the good Lord has left for us." Ruth felt tears come to her eyes. She looked at him and whispered, "I thought my heart was closed forever, Thomas. But you make me feel like it's opening again, just a little." Their courtship was slow, sweet, and full of gentle respect. They went for walks after church. They shared simple lunches. They sat on park benches and talked for hours. They prayed together. 8 months after that first conversation in the fellowship hall, Thomas got down on one knee right there in the church garden and asked Ruth to be his wife. She said yes, with happy tears streaming down her face. They got married in that same church 3 months later. A small, beautiful ceremony with their children, grandchildren, and many friends from the congregation. Ruth was 83. Thomas was 85. Their beautiful second marriage has now lasted 4 wonderful years. They still sit together in the same church pew every Sunday, only now the spot beside Ruth is no longer empty. They hold hands during the service. They smile at each other when the choir sings their favorite hymn. They go for slow walks in the garden after church, just like they did in the beginning. Ruth often says with a soft, grateful smile, "I was 82 and thought my life was over. But God had one more beautiful surprise waiting for me, right there in His house." Thomas always replies gently, "I went to church looking for peace. Instead, I found the love of my life." Dear friends, Ruth and Thomas's story is such a beautiful reminder that love doesn't have an expiration date. Even at 82, even after decades of marriage and deep loss, your heart can still open again. Sometimes the person God has for you is sitting just a few rows away in the same church you've been going to for years. If you're watching this and you feel lonely, if you've lost your spouse and think it's too late, or if you've been going to church alone for a long time, please know this: your story is not finished. Your best and gentlest chapter might still be waiting, perhaps in the very place you already know and love. Sometimes all it takes is showing up with an open heart and a little willingness to say hello. If you have your own story of meeting someone special at church, or if you're still hoping and praying for your own second chance, I would love to hear it in the comments below. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs this very week. Thank you for sitting here with me today and letting me share Ruth and Thomas's beautiful church love story. If it warmed your heart even a little, please give this video a gentle thumbs up. And if you're new here, Welcome to Golden Hearts Horizons. This is a warm and safe place where we talk about real love, real faith, and the gentle hope that new beginnings can happen at any age. Take very good care of your precious heart, dear friend. And remember, sometimes the best love stories begin in the most familiar places. I'll see you in the next story. God bless you.